very significant to a detective in general. We're going to celebrate Detective Larry Ellison, who's receiving the #1 badge. I'd like to acknowledge some very important people in the room. Rep. Russell Holmes. Enrique Zuniga. I'd like to recognize the president of Mammaleo, Jeff Lopes. And from Diego, Izzy Marrero. So I'm going to read a little bit about Detective Larry Ellison. So if you guys have an hour of your time, he has an extensive history in the Boston Police Department. So he was appointed police cadet back in 1983, and he's been a police officer since then. Area B, he was in the drug control unit. And then in 1988, he was rated detective. So as a detective, he worked in the drug control unit, D14 detectives. During that time, he was detailed back to recruit investigations at 4 different occasions because he did such a great job. Then he was assigned to E18 detectives, E5 detectives. I just want to commend the work that he's done for the police department and all the community work that he's done. And you can see by the people in this room how he's touched a lot of people in his career. He also served as president of Mammaleo for 12 years, and currently he serves on the post as a commissioner. So I'm going to turn it over to the commissioner at this point.
So thank you very much. You just heard a little bit about his bio, which tells you at least what he's been doing while he's here, but it doesn't tell you what he's been doing while he's here. Because he's been a detective since 1988, is that right? And doing a lot of that work in communities of color in this city. Larry's not only been here forever, but I knew him before I got him the job because we grew up in the same neighborhood in so many ways. Typically, when you do this #1 badge ceremony, it's done up in the police commissioner's office, and there's usually maybe some family there. But this is who Larry is because the community of the police department, the community of which we work and live every day, is here representing them to make sure he knows that he's loved in that way. And that's been his career. When you look out there between the school police, being a detective in general for many years, he's always looked out for the people in the city of this city, making sure that we're doing the right thing as a police department, making sure we're protecting the public, making sure we're building ties with the community. This is who Larry is, in my humble opinion. And you all being here and the numbers that you are here today represent exactly that, right? You are the epitome of community policing. So we're giving him the #1 badge, to represent certainly #1 detective badge, I should say that, clarified, because it represents not only his longevity but his status here at the police department as far as investigations and what he's done. I'm going to read something here in a second, but more importantly, I believe that you deserve the #1 badge for your community policing that you've done throughout your entire career, and you are the role model on which we want all officers to be on this job. So in a second, I will read this to you and give you the plaque, and if you want basically it says, in appreciation of his 39 years of distinguished service, thank you for your dedication to the Boston Police Department, your fellow officers, the community we serve. Your efforts and investigative abilities have been tremendous, have had a tremendous impact on public safety and the people you've helped throughout your career. For the 34 years of rank of detective, you are hereby awarded the Detective #1 badge.
Let's fake it. Like it's quite an honor, and I want to recognize our president of the Detectives Union, because when Donald Casey called me, I was sitting at the airport with my family about to take a family trip. That's right, you tell him now. And he said, well, you're next up for #1 badge. And I'm like, #1, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, you've been here a while. But I know folks have a lot going on in their lives, and for you all, this means a lot for me to look around this room and see people taking time out of their busy days, out of their busy schedules, to come and honor me in this way. So I want to thank you. But I also want to recognize my new family. You guys, folks, stand up, members from the Post Commission. I know you mentioned Enrique, but Anya and Eric and Randy are here from the Post Commission. I want to thank you guys for coming out, and all of the Commissioner mentioned a lot of the locations that I work, but I can tell you, for me personally, the last 12 years plus at the school unit, having an impact, and now with our new supervisor, Sergeant Anders on board, leading us in superintendent, it's quite an honor to be able to shape young lives in the way that we do. And I work with some of the best people in that unit, so I know they get a lot of flack, but I want to say as well, this is for you guys as well. Thank you so much for the support that you show me every day, day in, day out. And to all the command staff, thank you all for taking the time out to come today. Like I said, a lot of friends and family in here. I don't want to get too emotional, so end it with that. Like I said, if you leave here with nothing, making a difference in people's lives. As Fabian, like I said, he is someone I met when he was 15 years old, and I share this story quickly because how you can impact people's lives. I was not working in the school unit at the time. I met him doing the details when I did do them, and he had an interest in becoming a police officer. And he was working in a store at his age, which was unusual to see young people working at that age. And he approached me and he said, I know you're gonna probably say no like all the other officers, but I'd like to do a ride along and see how policing goes. So naturally he put me on the spot, I couldn't say no. So I took him on a ride along, got permission, we took him on a ride along, Commissioner.
Hey, Larry, you get the paperwork on that?
But it was life-changing for both of us. But one agreement that I made with him that night was that if I took him, he would have to take me to school with him. And he had the courage. He was attending Madison Park at the time. He went on the ride along with me. It was quite an interesting night that night. And he knew that this is what he wanted to do. And all he needed was some support. And I went to school with him several days later. That was a quite an experience for me. And that's what transformed me, wanting to go back in and work in the schools and make a difference. And I knew it had changed when I met officers and they would say, well, yeah, I met your son. And I'm like, my son? I knew who they were talking about. And I would try to explain to the people at first the relationship that, well, I met him, but then I thought about it, it was more important that he thought of me as his dad than me trying to explain to people the relationship. If they just thought I was a bad dad for the first 15 years of his life, I was okay with that as long as he was comfortable with me people saying, yes, I knew you're talking about Fabian. I would say to them, you met Fabian. So I say this because we do make a difference in people's lives in ways we don't even know. And he's become a big part of my family, even though he wouldn't come take a photo with me. But he's become a big part of our lives. And so I leave you with that. Please, if you can make a difference in folks' lives, they don't have to be your family. Do so. And again, thank you all for coming.
As a young officer, I recall, it was a promotion exam, and there was a lot of talk about, certainly people of color had a lot of trouble passing this exam. And I remember saying, I'm not even going to take the exam. That was maybe 2 days before the exam.
We talked a lot, like he knows what I do in the community, and we talked about a lot of different things. So, congratulations. I'll take a picture with you for today's good day. I want to recognize number 2 back then. Raise your hand, number 2.
asked
I
the
coached that
commission,
young man in football at O'Brien High School.
I already asked the commission if I could use this detail to get out of here.
Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.